Oh, you guys saying that we're late by 1 minute. I should have just kept on talking to Greg before we even went live. Morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. It's Saturday morning here, 6:02. What is the date today? 17th of February. We've got about 2 more days left of the galactic core rising here where I am before the moon starts interfering. So that's where it's at. We've had some good mornings here. We've got about it's about 2 hours, I guess, of the galactic core, half the galactic core getting above the horizon before the sun comes up. So we're certainly into it here in Australia. I think in the Northern Hemisphere, you guys don't kick off until probably another month or two, maybe 2 months, before you can start doing it. I've seen some guys posting on the group. They've got like the tail of the galactic core coming up. And then now and then I see a photo on there, go, that wasn't recently, and you read the comments and it's like, that was taken 2 years ago. Anywho, let's bring on, what's his bloody name, that podcaster guy.
Good day, everybody.
Good day, mate.
Hey, how are you?
I'm all right. How about you?
Good. I'm really good.
We when we said good day before we went live, I should probably stop opening and unclosing this AirPods thing because it'll connect to the freaking Mac and I won't be able to hear. Before we went live. To me. Oh, is it?
Yeah, when I was doing the live of the podcast the other night.
All right.
I did something and I lost Dave's audio and I was all messed up and here I am live on YouTube.
Wait, is this another one? Have you done 2 on YouTube now?
Yep. Yeah, I did the test and then I did the actual podcast the other night.
With the Zoom?
Yep.
Were they both with Zoom?
Yep.
Okay. Maybe I haven't seen them both. I'm not sure. I know that you see mine because you're here.
Yes.
The Beach Boys and Scott Baker in the comments. Patrika, morning, Patrika. I'm surprised he's not banned from all these platforms.
I know, right?
The day is young yet, Patrika. Long Island, New York. Oh, the Beach Boys are Canadian as well. All these Canadian peoples. There is a bit now, very early, not worth going out just yet. Oh, this is the snow. It's snowing where you are too, right?
Yes, we have some snow, and we're supposed to get more over the weekend, I think.
Uh-huh.
Right now, we only have about maybe 15, 20 centimeters. That's not too bad.
Mm-hmm. And you've still got those bloody flags, I see.
Oh, I was just talking to my neighbor about that, and...
you should explain what they are first, because people who are watching it, like we're just having a conversation there, but people who are listening...
Okay, so there's... the utility companies will put little flags, different colors of flags representing, get natural gas, cable, water, whatever. And if they're going to do some work, like, okay, so my property goes down and it stops about 15 feet or so, maybe about 7 or 8 meters from the road, and then all that's public, like the city property. And that's where a lot of the utility stuff will run, like the gas lines, cable, And so there's a house down the street that's going to get like fiber internet put in. And they have to run it underground across the front of my property and a couple other places here and then connect it. Mm-hmm. And what they do is they locate the lines for gas and water and all that stuff, and they'll mark them with flags, little wee flags, and they put them in the ground. And they did this back in, I want to say, probably October. Might have even been September, because I know I was still cutting my lawn at the time, so it wasn't too cold yet.
Just your lawn, or were you cutting your neighbor's grass as well?
No, I was just cutting my own. That's pretty dodgy of you. Anyway, so the flags are still there, and we had no snow. Well, we got some snow early in the winter, and then it all went away. And now, just yesterday, we got more back. But I mean, these stupid flags. You take a picture of your front lawn, and which I did, and I sent it to these guys. And is this it? Yep, yeah. That's it. And there's these stupid, dumb little flags sticking out of the snow.
It's been going
I,
on for so long.
hey,
It's been going on for so long.
oh, it's just ridiculous. I don't know. I'm almost tempted to just go and pluck the damn things out but I mean they're not hurting anything, so. But if they get in the way in the spring, when I do when I want to cut the grass again, they're going to be gone.
So they're just little metal flags, right, stuck in the ground.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know if they were sitting. If I lived where you are, where I am, it doesn't really matter. But if I lived where you are, and it was there for that long, I would definitely be moving the damn things. I'd be like moving them everywhere, so when they get there to do their job, it'd be like,
Yeah. Every time they come back, they be in a different spot.
That's right. Start digging a hole here, water goes everywhere.
Pluck one in the side of the tree.
That's right. Dale Lotherington. Morning, Dale.
Hey, Dale.
Not sure who the Facebook fellas are. Get tons of flags. There you go.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Yeah. Maybe it's just an Aussie piss-taking thing. I don't know. Washington, D.C. Can't see the Milky Way anywhere near here. Well, yeah, I suppose. It'd be kind of like, what's his name? Will Newcomb in China.
Yeah.
And he puts an astro photo up. It's like a star. Yeah. I mean, in Tokyo, I remember looking up and going, "Oh, there's a star. Hold on, that's a freaking light on top of a building." It wasn't stars. Very fortunate where I live. Less than an hour from a portal. I'm not sure what that means. Please explain. Oh, here we go. Look at this. Patrica in the house. Oh, this is in response to the actual topic of today's conversation.
Yeah. At least one person's on track here.
There's been a lot of one of the most common questions that I'm asked at the moment. I can put a video out on a freaking rubber band at the moment, and someone will ask, "When am I going to do the S24 Ultra?" Like it's the most common thing I'm being asked at the moment. And I know you've jumped to the defense, if you like, of like send him a phone and he'll do it. Like all the phones that I get on this channel, I buy on this channel with my own money. So all the phones that I buy, all the phones that you see here, I buy. All the phones that I give away, I buy. Mm-hmm. So it's my money, and it's when something like the iPhone 14 to the iPhone 15 happens, I would sit there and go, "What the hell would I? Why would I buy this phone?" And it's if it wasn't for the channel, I wouldn't have bought the phone. In saying that, it's very bloody good. I think it's better for Astro than what.
Oh yeah, and I'm in the same boat with the podcast. If it wasn't for the podcast, I wouldn't have upgraded to the 15 Pro Max either, because the 14 Pro Max was the duck's nuts.
Yep. Now, when it comes to the reason for buying that was one, the channel, and two, my ecosystem is Apple. So my daily phone is an Apple phone. So it kind of made sense to me to do that, even though I looked at it and went, this really isn't that much of a jump, if any sort of thing. You know? So when it comes to the 23 and the 24, my background with the S23, and I've put it in some videos, when it first came out, the S21, when it first came out, I was super stoked with that phone. That did some amazing astro photos. And I think I even used the S21 Ultra, or S21 or S22, I can't remember now, for a little period of time as my daily phone. Mm-hmm. And then the next one came out, and it was a little bit better. But the S23 was the first phone that had the Expert RAW, and I was excited about that. You got to keep in mind what I do on this channel here. I do nighttime stuff and long exposure stuff, and that's really about it. The videos that I do that aren't about those two things don't do well on this channel, so I just don't do them. You'll very rarely see me do videos that are all about the tech of a phone. I just don't do that. There's plenty of people doing that. It's been done to death. There's no reason for me to do it.
Yeah.
So when the S23 came out, it was good. Then the Astro mode in Expert RAW came out. and it was awesome. I think it was really good. And then they did updates to it and just nerfed the damn thing. It was unusable. It was absolutely shit. It was the worst bloody thing I've ever seen happen to a phone.
I'd like to know what their thought process was there.
I don't know, and it's not like it's and I see comments on videos, and when I do an iPhone video, and you get the hardcore. I don't get it. I just don't get it. You get the hardcore Android person who you would swear black and blue they've got a lot of shares in Samsung, the way they really attack about Apple fanboy, you're not doing this. It's bizarre to me. It's just a fucking phone that you carry in your pocket, dickhead. But anyway, it is. At the end of the day, that's what it is. And you're so passionate about it.
Yeah.
And I'm someone who makes my money on this, and I still think that way. And anyway, the S23 came out, had the expert raw problem, and you couldn't use it anymore. It wasn't just me. It was widespread. Other YouTubers have done videos about that specific thing. And even up until I haven't taken a photo with my S23 for about a month. And so it was up to date a month ago. There might be an update on it now, I'm not sure. And it was still doing it then. So they haven't fixed it. And I think from Samsung's point of view, they've probably gone, well, I've got a new phone coming out now. Why would I fix this? From a customer point of view, I go, that's really bad service. So when the S24 came out, I look at the tech specs and I go, there's a lot of similarities here, and there's a lot of the AI, which is why I joked about it in one of my videos about the Google Pixel S24 Ultra, because that's how I see it. Like because all of the AI stuff, from what I've been reading, belongs to Google. Google lease it to Samsung. So your upgrade is
because they even showed right in that release video, they showed the AI stuff, and then they showed powered by Google.
Yeah. So I kind of go, well, remember that song, What Have You Done For Me Lately? It's kind of like and that Yesterday's Hero song. It's kind of a bit like that. But then I go, should I get the S24 just for the channel? Because they generally do, like when I do a couple of banger videos on those phones, they generally pay for the phone. Like over time, the amount of money I make on those videos pays for the phone. So there's an element of that. But then I'm also on a number of photography groups for those phones on Facebook. And the amount of problems that people are having with these S24 Ultra, I'm kind of like, I don't know if I want to do that. Maybe I'll just wait till the next one. There's all sorts of things, like it's all like a yellow cast through the photos. Remember when Even Longer first started and we didn't quite get the whole, it's overexposed, so the magenta cast comes in. You've seen that? You know what I'm talking about? It's like around the edges, like a vignette of magenta through some of the photos when your ISO is too high. And I'm seeing that on some of the S24 Ultra photos. And I'm like, that's bizarre. That's a new phone. It shouldn't be doing that. And I've seen some photos that I just go, that's amazing. Like Ron Duval put a photo on the group yesterday or the day before of like all snow at nighttime. There was cloud cover, but it was sharp. It was such a good photo. Yeah. And that was from the S24 Ultra. And I thought, well, shit, that's a really good photo. But even Ron said that the difference between this and this when it comes to Astro will be minimal, or if any difference. So with those sorts of things in mind, no, I'm not going to get the S24 Ultra. I think there's enough little issues. Not everyone's having the issues. So before all the Android folks get on hating me, not everyone's having these issues. But you can't go to these Facebook groups and deny that it's happening, because it is happening. Yeah. And the difference from what I do on this channel between that model and this model is negligible. I would literally only be doing it for views, not for educational purposes. Or entertainment purposes, whatever the hell you watch this bloody channel for. It's, I don't know. I don't know. So that's where I sit with that. I was trying to have a look at these comments and see if I'm getting roasted here or not for saying what I said. Yes, I have. I've done videos on this. I think I've done a few on this. In fact, I've got this neat little bit of kit. You watch, I can just sense right now Dale Lotherington is just about to go, damn it. Look at that, Dale. I'd rather be doing a video with that than an S24 Ultra. For those that don't know what that is, you'll see it in the video soon enough. That's a star tracker, a move, shoot, move star tracker. And I will certainly be doing this with the iPhone, but because this question was asked, this is the phone that I really want to test it with, is the S23 Ultra on a star tracker with the intervalometer and do maybe 80 or so photos with the intervalometer at 30 seconds being tracked, so there's no star trails, a lower ISO, so there's no noise, and then bring them into Starry Night Stacker and stack them all up. I think that's going to be a pretty good photo from a phone.
I think you're right.
The reason I say that about Dale is because Dale bought one probably 6 months ago, and I've been watching, and I'm like, I'm going to buy one of these, and then I'm like, hold on, I have influence. So I contacted these people and said, I'm kind of famous on the internet. You should send me one of those.
Now that should go on a t-shirt.
And they went, yeah, we're not doing that in Australia just yet. Like, but my audience isn't here. My audience is in Canada. And anyway, then they reached out to me and said, hey, we've got this new telescope mount for iPhones, and we've seen you've done videos of this. Would you like to review it? I'm like, sweet, happy to do that. That kind of fits what I do. Mm-hmm. Also, I reached out to you guys. How about as payment for doing that video, you send me one of these? Like, okay. So it'll be good.
That's good sales talk right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't understand that either, Patricia. To be honest, it's all the stuff that I read.
I think they're thinking behind that, and I could be way off on this, but I think they're thinking behind that was the fact that they revamped the sensor and you know the pixel technology and all that stuff to try to make up for it. And I think I've seen some images taken with that phone that have been zoomed to 10 times, and actually they don't look that bad. Mm-hmm. You know, so I don't know. Maybe it was a cost saving thing. I don't know. Maybe they wanted that 5 times optical zoom to be one of their cameras in there, because I don't think they had that before. That I think they went from 3x to 10x, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And it's like the iPhone. The iPhone goes from it's got the 1x, but then it's got the 2x cropped, but then it jumps right to the 5x, and that 3x was a pretty sweet focal length when I had the 14 Pro Max, and I kind of miss it at times. Yep. But I mean, I'm getting used to the fact that I don't have it. So, but you know, who knows what their thinking was behind that.
Well, the one thing I will say with that, the 10 times zoom and the star tracker, I'll be able to get some in my head. I'm going, I should be able to get some pretty bloody good, like Orion Nebula, and drop. We'll see. I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch. It is. That's right. I remember the first time seeing. Oh, what's her? Is her name Rosie? The dog? I can't remember.
Yeah, Rosie. Yep. Rosie.
Yep. I remember seeing her in the photos, and like, that's how I remembered you for ages, Scott. Was your dog with the David Bowie eyes? The 6 Pro did an amazing astrophotography stacking ability. I'm guessing you're talking about the Pixel here. Yes, I think so. I'm guessing that's what he's talking about there.
I think so.
The manual settings on the Pixel are not good enough for Astro. I did try it a while ago. I almost did a video on it. I'm very mindful about doing videos that are negative. I'd rather leave the negative stuff for here. So you get it all raw. Because I'll occasionally like go down a rabbit hole when I'm out filming and start going, oh, this is shit and this is shit. And then I get back here and I put it on the computer and go, That's not the image I wish to portray, as in bagging stuff. I don't want to do that. There's plenty of other people doing that. And there's enough of that shit in the world. Just leave it for here while we've got this little bit of candid conversation. But it wasn't good. I think the maximum I could shoot on that was 16 seconds, which makes sense because of the way the Astro works on that phone. But I'm pretty sure the maximum I could go with for shutter speed on that Pixel with the manual mode was 16 seconds. I'm almost certain of that. Everything is saturated in photography, so it's better to use what is simple and use carry. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. We'll talk more about the whole topic of this conversation, the whole topic of this live stream soon.
Yeah.
No one wants to get up early and shoot stars. Absolutely. There's only been this is where I'm going to get all these Apple fanboy comments. This has never failed me. I don't think I've ever been to a shoot, like to go and take photos of stars, and this hasn't worked. It has worked every single time. I cannot say the same about either of the other two phones that I shoot with. Certainly either of the other two that I took to Japan. The ND stacking thing with Samsung to shut the camera down every time. That pissed me off no end. And then I had the whole time-changing thing with the Pixel. I don't know. We spoke about that, I think. It was just... Yeah, this was reliable for me.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What is the percentage breakdown of your Astro between iPhone and Samsung? On the channel, I'm going to say more than half is iPhone.
Yeah, I was thinking 60-40 from what I've seen.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One is this, what I just said, this works all the time. Two is the amount of apps that are available for that phone. So I'll look through the content on my channel, and some of the highest ranking videos. There's no particular brand of phone that stands out. Like the highest ranking video I have is the S21 Ultra. I think it's got like 500,000 views or something. But the ones between that one and say 100,000 views, all phone brands are in there. But when I look through all the content, I go, there's an older iPhone video, as in how to do this with an older iPhone, how to do this with an iPhone, how to do this with an iPhone, because you can do so much more with the iPhone because of apps. So that's, I think, why it would lean that way. One, I use it every day, and two, there's more apps. Greetings, gentlemen, from New York. Not much astrophotography happening in New York, I would imagine.
No, unless you get maybe upstate in New York or up in the Adirondacks or something.
Use the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Like to get your thoughts on the Eclipse. Joe, did you put a comment on one of the videos? Because I've never done it with anything. I've never taken photos of an eclipse before, and somebody asked a question in a comment on one of the videos, and I haven't answered it yet because I don't know yet. Everywhere I'm looking, there's all different things that people will write about it with different filters you've got to put on your camera. My gut feeling is that I wouldn't do it just to protect the camera because I don't know enough about it. Have you done this before, Greg?
No.
No.
I can't remember the last time we had an eclipse that we could actually see from where I am. Yeah. And, to that point, would I do that? Probably not. There's going to be enough people out there with better cameras, DSLRs with longer lenses, telescopes, whatever, filming it, that if I want to see it, then I can watch there type of thing. I'm a little apprehensive about doing that with the phone because, like you say, you don't know if it could damage it or whatever, right? And, do your homework, Joe. If you're going to do this, okay, he just says he's got the filters and he's ready to go. So,
yep.
Well, give it a shot. I mean, why not? I don't know how long it's going to take for the eclipse to happen, and if so, would you have to move it at all, during the eclipse, maybe look into that too. What
Yeah.
kind of a zoom level you're going to use. With the 15 Pro Max, you got the 5X on there. Would it be sufficient? I don't know. It's hard to
So
say.
this here is, we're suggesting that it could, because it can definitely hurt big boy cameras. The reason that it hurts those cameras, the DSLRs and mirrorless and so forth, is you're putting a longer lens on there, so you're magnifying that light that's already super bright and pushing it onto the sensor of the camera and burns out the sensor. It absolutely happens. I just don't know how it would work with a phone. I don't know enough about it. I
I
think
think
depending on
if you're going to film something like the eclipse, you're exposing that sensor to that sunlight, even if it's just through the regular phone lens, for a long period of time. And I mean, to take a quick shot of a sunset, yeah, that's probably not a big deal. But it's, at the same time too, okay, but somebody might say, okay, well, if you could do a time lapse of a sunset, you're looking at the sun a long time. Well, the sun's down in the horizon, and it's not. It's got a lot more of the atmosphere to go through, I think, before it hits the camera. So I don't think it would be as damaging as it would be up,
Yeah, true.
midday sun, which is a lot brighter. So I don't know. I'm not a physicist or anything, so I'm just going by what I kind of imagine it would be like. But I think it could damage the phone if you don't have filters on, especially for an eclipse.
I tend to agree. Want to see what the Xiaomi bring. And I would, from my point of view, I would rather have that phone than the new Samsung phone for doing what I do. These guys are just awesome with doing what they do with low light. I just can't get the damn thing here. I've even reached out to them and said, hey, send me some shit. Look what I do. And I'm kind of famous on the internet.
Well, just like a neutered dog, they don't get it.
Yeah, that's so. Look, I would love to get one of the damn things here, just to try it, because I see what other people are doing, and I just, as much as it might make me sound like an asshole, I kind of look like I could do better than that. Give me the damn phone.
Yeah,
I want to try it. Yeah. Good question, Joe. Oh, that was about what we were just talking about. Yep. Brian's the same as Stacking Pro. We had this comment. Okay. This is talking about the Pixel still. I'm not sure why you would do it. Why you would do it manually over doing it, letting the camera do it, because that camera does it incredibly well. Incredibly well. You know that?
Yeah, the 4-minute photograph. Yep.
I'm talking about the incredible. Yeah. To the blue bubble team. I hear you. And the long exposure apps, they just are better on an iPhone. I don't care what anyone says. They just are. Like, find an app on an Android phone that can do what Even Longer does, and as well as what Even Longer does. You just can't. And you got the reflex apps. There's so many different long exposure apps, but they're the duck's nuts as far as.
Okay, that being said, Patrika's been putting some amazing long exposure stuff on social lately. Patrika, if you can tell us what app you're using, how are you doing it?
It's not. He's using the camera app on the Huawei.
It's built in. I just saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. The Huawei camera app is the best app for a phone, I reckon. It just is. I think if you could have the iOS and have the Huawei camera app, there you go. That's your best. That's your best phone right there. Yeah. It really is good. It really is. If it could do the whole Google thing and do the whole Apple thing, I'd be there. Still the same conversation. I did not. This is okay. This is. It's funny. You guys should try and do this from my point of view, because my head is in like two parts of the conversation that we've had for the last 29 minutes. I'm like, what is he responding to? He's responding to me asking, did you put a comment on the YouTube video?
Yeah.
Yep, 100%. I think we just covered that.
And if it says it on the internet, it must be true.
Okay. Total eclipse, I'm assuming that means. What filters in general? Do you mean? You mean
Or
filters in
okay,
general?
let's talk about the eclipse here. So for the eclipse, I would recommend using like a 10 stop. Stack them up. Because you're gonna really want a lot of filters on there, or a very dark filter on there at least. 10, 12 stops, whatever kind of dark filter you can get.
Ah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I'm really going to try and get one of these phones now. On Astro with phones, I'm just exploring more types of photography I can run with the phone. Star trails, long exposure, macro. All right. Well, you would already know by now, Maurice, that this is just so much easier. Like what you're talking about there is exactly where I was. I was using exactly that camera, doing exactly what you're talking about here. I could do star trails on the 5D Mark III and shoot for a few hours at night, then come in and stack them all. Whereas you've got even longer, just go, and it's done when you're finished. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about that more in a little bit. I see now. Why would you want to, though? Not sure what you're going to gain by doing it more than 4 minutes. So he's talking about doing that 16 seconds on the Pixel with the intervalometer, which it does work, by the way. I've done that. I've done videos with that to try and do star trails. There's a video right there. Excuse me. Yes. Because I've done star trails with the Pixel before, with the previous Pixel, using the intervalometer, and it worked like Morse code because they're 4 minute long photos.
Yeah. It gets broken up.
Yeah, but using it the manual mode, that's where it's at. That'll work. In my head, that's going to work. Yeah, it'll work. Anywho, thanks for the idea, Brian. I'll even mention you in the video. Please try. Whoa. Please try to review 360 degrees panning auto rotation time lapse. Trying to get my head around what that is. 360 degrees panning.
Auto rotation time.
So you mean following the core? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, I think he wants you to go do a 360 time lapse. You go right around in the 360. So
Yeah.
I'm seeing that as being, just view the sky going around in a time lapse in a 360. So just get a nice 360 panel of the sky at night.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I'm reading that.
Well, you wouldn't need it's a time lapse though. Time lapse.
So he actually wants a video in the end.
I'm not sure.
You'd have to have a tripod head that would take you 360.
Ah, Scott's saying that's the product name. Ah, right. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I'll have a look. I'm not sure. I don't know enough about that one. I know the with the core. I thought he was talking about the core. You see some time lapse videos with the galactic core basically stands still and the Earth moves around it.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I thought that may be what he's talking about.
That would be cool.
It would be cool. I found this channel when looking for Astro stuff with the 15 Pro Max. Oh, shucks. Still struggling with Star Trails and Moon. Whereabouts are you, Joe? Because my go-to for anyone who asks about in a comment on a video about there's too much light pollution where I am, I tell them do Star Trails because you can do Star Trails. If you can see a star, you can do Star Trails. So, yeah. I suppose we should talk, now that we're 35 minutes into the video, we should probably talk about, Long Island, New York. Bloody hell.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
you might struggle. You can probably still see stars though, right? If you walk out into the street at night, can you still see stars in the sky with your eye?
Now what about the end of Long Island that's way out by the ocean? Like I'm just kind of guessing by my. I looked at it on a map one time. Could you not drive out to the end, like where the Hamptons are, whatever is that out that way? Would there be less light pollution there? I'm kind of asking a blind
Yep.
question here, but I would think that there would be some place on Long Island where you can drive and kind of get away from the heavy light pollution.
So yeah, you can see stars apparently. Mentalk. I don't even know what they said. Mentalk.
Montauk.
Montauk. Montauk. Montauk. Oh, that's a place in Long Island apparently.
Yeah,
Yes, probably about how. Okay, so you could
yeah.
definitely do it. You can definitely do star trails, 100%. If you can see the stars, you can do it. And when you're talking about here, star trails in the moon, I'm not sure if you're talking about two separate things here, but I would say and you'll see it in the next couple of weeks on my list of videos to do will be, or it is, star trails with the moon. Use the moon to light paint all the ground, all the subject in front of you. I've done one at Mount Hope. There's definitely a video there on the channel with there's a big rock formation and star trails up above it. It's one of the best star trail photos I've taken, and that was done because the moon was pretty well full, and it could light all the foreground, and the moon's up behind me because you go to one of the poles and get the circular star trails. It works really well.
That's that 360 thing he's talking
Yep,
about.
I'm with you now. Yep, gotcha. Ah, that would be cool.
Yep.
That would be cool. And when you're doing those sorts of photos, and I copped a little bit of flack from a couple of people with the video I did 3 or 4 videos ago. Good on you, Scott, you bloody legend. Sorry, in the private chat that we have got going on, Scott's found the head that you're talking about. I understand what you're talking about now. Interesting. It's definitely worth looking at. What was I talking about? So when I did the Craig's Hut thing and went there, and I was hoping to get Craig's Hut with star trails around it, sort of thing. And when I got there, Craig's Hut's here, but the southern pole is there, and it wasn't going to work. So I decided not to do that. And then on the spot, I just threw the drone up and took some photos that way. And people were like, they're overrated, those circular star trails. You should have done it anyway. For me, I like them. But if the subject, and what I'm about to tell you, is counter to what I actually did, if your subject is like the duck's nuts, if this lighthouse is awesome, I wouldn't care which way the star trails went. I think it would be a good photo for you anyway. Just compose it well and have at it.
Yep.
Yeah, good job. So the whole point of the subject that I came up with.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Astrophotography with phones. Why do you do it?
Why do I do it?
Yeah.
For the channel, to make money. That's what I do for a living. So, I don't know. I've probably told this. I'm almost certain I've told this story before. But there's probably new people here, so maybe you haven't heard it. I don't know. So I've been doing astrophotography for about 10 years, maybe a little bit longer, when we first moved down to where we are. So I was doing, I wasn't really all that into photography. And when I was still living on the Gold Coast, I was working in IT, and I was getting different bonuses, like performance bonuses, you know. And I was at a point in the tax world where I was like, I don't want to pay any more tax because like I don't like how they spend it. And then I said to the guy that I was working for, I said, how about you don't pay me? How about, we play with some pretty cool tech stuff here, and we've got access to all these wonderful tech shops. I'm just going to, you give me the figure, and I'll just go and buy some stuff and you just pay for it. How about that? He's like, yeah, let's do that. So I went and bought a camera. One of the things, I bought what was it? It was a Canon 7D, the first one, like 4 lenses, I think, and a tripod and a bag. I bought a heap of stuff. And I thought, this is cool. And I started getting into photography. And I started doing all basically anything that you could shoot with a camera. I was shooting it. Then when we moved down here, obviously we can see more stars with the naked eye here than what you can on the Gold Coast. And I went, how can you photograph stars? So that was like the moment. And everyone remembers their very first time that they shoot a galactic core, because you see it in photos and you go, that's amazing. So I put this thing on a tripod, did some research, went, that's how I'm going to do it. The research at the time, we were living in an old farmhouse. We had mobile internet and we had 4 gig a month. It was pathetic. Like, if you did a little bit of research, watch a video, that was it. You're gone for the month. And you look at the time, you look at the date, and it's like the 8th of the month. You go, I got a whole month now, no internet. That's how backward it is here back then. So anyway, I went out and I took this photo, and I've still got it somewhere, of the galactic core and a car driving past on the road. It was, well, really, it's a pretty cool photo for the very first one that I've ever done. And I've done plenty of bad ones since then. But anyway, I went, well, this is kind of cool. So I started doing more and more and more of it, and learning more and more of it, and then started selling prints. Had a few exhibitions. Then we started running workshops. We'd bring people from Melbourne up to where I am. That's about 3 hours away, because they can't see many stars down in Melbourne. Started bringing people up here, running workshops. And between all of those, I was doing phone photography workshops. Not for Astro, had no idea the phone could even do it. In my head, I'm going, the sensor is so small, it can't capture the stars. It's impossible. Can't work. Can't possibly work. And then we were doing, when I say we, I'm talking about me. I was doing phone photography workshops in town. So I would sell them through my website for I think it was like $50. You'd come along, spend like an hour and a half with me with like 5 other people, I think. And we'd walk around the town and I'd show you how to take different photos, composition, tell stories through your photos, do a bit of editing. And people loved it. Like I did, I don't know how many of those, bloody heaps. Every time there was a big thing happening in town, I'd do more photography workshops, and the grey nomads, like caravanning people, would come through our town. It's a nice town to stop at. So I'd run those workshops at those sorts of times. Then a friend of mine asked me, can you come and do some photography, like product photography workshops for local businesses in town? So yeah, cool, let's do that. And we're running those. And as we were doing those, that's when COVID started and we all got locked down, and I couldn't run those workshops anymore. And I was like, well, what do I do? And I thought at the time, I was like, we need to keep these people that I was just teaching photography about their products. I want to, because there was more workshops lined up that people were booked into, but they couldn't do it. So I was like, well, I might put these on YouTube. I'll just film myself doing it. And I knew nothing about filming. And if you go and look at my production quality of my videos, you can see that I know nothing about filming, but I don't care. I've gone down the rabbit hole a couple of times with my videos going, let's do some color grading and stuff like that. Just buy a camera, push the button. People don't care how it looks. They care what I'm showing you how to do. And they care about my sense of humor. But anyway, I started looking at YouTube, and I think like most people of my vintage, in grey here, of my vintage, we look at things and we research things, you go, like this light here that I used the other day in that video, this is the aperture light. If I was to buy this light, I would research this light. I'd go and look for reviews on it. I'd go and look for videos of how-to videos on YouTube and stuff. That's how I would research. I'm sure most people do the same thing. So I did that with YouTube, and I worked out there's a niche here. You got to go photography, and I went, that's cool. Let's do photography as a niche. Everyone's doing photography as a niche on YouTube. So I went, well, let's look at astrophotography. Oh, that's cool. There's quite a few people doing that too. And then Sarah said to me, do it with your phone. I'm like, you can't do this with your phone. You can't do astrophotography with your phone. Don't be ridiculous. That didn't age well. So I had the iPhone 11 Pro at the time, and I went, it's got this night mode to see if this damn thing can work. Went out in the paddock next door, like next to the house, put on a tripod, did it handheld first, and like it's only 10 seconds. That doesn't, like the stars in it, cool, there's potential. Then went and bought a phone holder, come back, put on the tripod, got 30 seconds, and we kind of went from there. And I'll say that since I've been doing this channel, I reckon I've taken less than 10 photos, astro photos, with a big boy camera. Everything else has been with the phone. Now, there's a lot of people who will say you can do so much better with the big boy cameras. And you can. You 100% can do better. You'll get better astro photos from a dedicated camera for astrophotography. You absolutely will. No one can say otherwise. 100%. But the way that my mindset around this channel is that not go and buy the iPhone 15 Pro Max because it's the best phone for astrophotography. That's not what even though I do some comparison videos, that's not what my mindset is with this channel. My mindset is, if you've got one of these, this is how you can do this. That's my mindset about it. If you've got one of these, this is how you could do this. That's it. And I think we live in a pretty bloody good time right now where you'd be struggling pretty hard to find a phone that is bad, a phone camera that is bad. Most of them are pretty bloody good. Some of them do some things better than other things and so forth. But for me, I look at this I started it from that point of view. I started the channel mainly I did do a couple of videos of product photography. The videos suck. You want to see really bad videos that I've done? I've never taken a video down. They're always up. I've never taken one down. But go and have a look at the product photography videos. They suck. They suck so bad. But they're still there. I look at them now and I go, fuck. What was I thinking? Like, you listen to it, you go, that just sounds terrible. I look like shit. The video's blurry. But hey, the people that was aimed at, which was all those people in those other workshops, they got something out of it, so it's okay.
Yeah.
So now when people talk to me about astrophotography with phones, I go, everyone has one of these, regardless of the brand. Almost everyone has one of these, a phone.
Yeah.
And I go, well, you might want to get into astrophotography. And I think we've said this before. We've had this discussion before about you plan your astro shots, and more often than not, you've got to get up out of bed at a silly time of the day. So you do that. And when I was running photography workshops for astro, people would say, you're telling everyone your secrets. I'm like, it's not a fucking secret. It's just not. Like, you can find this stuff yourself. The clincher is when that alarm goes off next to your bed at 2:00 in the morning and you get out of bed, that's what makes the difference between someone who is going to be doing astrophotography seriously and someone who's happy to do it from time to time. And I think this is the perfect entry point for everyone, because you can go and spend, you can get better photos out of, I don't know. You'll definitely get better photos out of big boy cameras right now. I think these are where DSLRs were probably 4 or 5 years ago for astro. I think that's my gut feeling. That you go and spend 4, 5, 6 grand on a camera setup to do astrophotography, get a mount, all the rest of it. Before you spend all that money, go and do it with this for a season and see if you're going to get yourself out of bed at 2:00 in the morning or 11:00 at night or 1:00 in the morning, and whatever it is, and do that consistently through the season. You know you're going to do it. Then go and spend the money on the big stuff, because you'll get better. Definitely get better. That's my thoughts around astro with the phones. That was the whole topic of today's conversation. See you all later. You're sitting over there like, Shane, take a breath. I need to talk.
Well, I'm thinking, okay, so that is a very good explanation as to how you got to where you are. For me, I do it because I saw you do it. And I thought, okay, I'm going to give this a try. And sure enough, it worked. And I mean, I don't live in a place like you do where you could see the stars like really, really well. I have to drive a little bit to get to a spot, not too far, mind you, but I still have to do that. But anyway, and I've taken some pictures that I like with the Milky Way and stuff like that. And when I show people, oh, like, wow, you did that with your phone? I said, yeah. Well, how did you do that? Direct them right to your channel. Saves me a lot of explaining.
Yeah. But Devo, you didn't. Devo's here. Did you watch it at dinner or not? Did you tune in at dinner with your wife or not?
Be honest.
Be honest.
But
is she still at the restaurant? You've just pissed off.
Yeah. But anyway, so I mean that I do it. Yeah, the short answer is with these phones now is because I can. I couldn't do it before I had the 12 Pro Max. That was the first phone that got really good at it. I guess you could do it a little bit with the 11 Pro Max, but the 12 Pro Max was the first iPhone anyway that could do it and do it reasonably well, I think. And you know, when you get your first astro shot like that with the Milky Way, and you see how well it did it, you kind of get the bug that you want to do more. You know, that's when you start exploring foregrounds and you know, additional lighting and things like that. And and that's why we do them now, is because we can. With older phones, you just didn't have this ability. Mind you, you do have this ability with an app like Nocturne, I think it's called, or you know, there's a couple other ones I'm sure, but you know, these apps that are coming out that do give you that ability to do this kind of work with an older phone. I mean, it's opened up for a lot more people. But if somebody was to say, why do I do it? Because I can, and it's something different. It's cool.
Yeah,
and I'm sure there's a lot of people in that boat. Absolutely,
I would put money on it that 90% of the people that are in this chat right now are in that boat. I'd put money on that.
Devo says 4 people left the stream when he showed up. Sorry about that.
Is it possible to collab with Raw Kitchen? Is that a channel? I haven't heard of that one. I'll have a look. Doing collabs here, I've done a couple. It's very hard because I'm very remote, and I've done one with David Addison, and it was actually a really hard video to put together because we're in different locations, we have different sorts of humor, different sorts of ways of explaining things. It still worked. That I'll go and check out Raw Kitchen. I've not heard of that one, but I'll go and have a look and see. I like the idea of the Orion Nebula with that. That's exactly what I plan to be doing with that phone and that Star Tracker, so we'll see. I kind of look at it like haiku. Let's put emphasis back on yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. 100%. 100%. And I still get that. And I've taken so many bloody astro photos, it's ridiculous. But the other is it the latest video? I think it's the latest video with the tree and the light stand. That's such a bloody good idea. I'm so stoked that I've found this way to do it. But the first photo that I took with this, I was like, shit, this is going to be good. and they started moving the light around. I'm like, this is bloody awesome. I'm so happy with that photo. And I've done so many photos of the galactic core. Sometimes I just go, hey, that's cool. But other times, like that photo, I'm just like, that's awesome. Awesome. David, I've heard of that. Bloody hell. Yeah, so everyone here, like I've seen some of the names here, like Joe. I think Joe's new. But other names that I've seen here, I see them in the Facebook group, and I see the photos that they're punching out. But were you guys doing this before you found this channel? I'm curious. Like, did you? Like Joe said, he went searching for. I'll explain that in a minute. He found this by looking for iPhone 15 Pro Max Astro. Is that what you guys did to find me here? I'm just curious.
For me personally, I think I think one of your videos just showed up in my feed, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
And I watched it and I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. And then I pestered you to come on the podcast.
So I didn't know at the time. I was getting just like, when you reached out to me, I was getting so many people reaching out about different things. And I was just like, what the fuck is going on here? But after starting the other two channels, I've worked out that as you start gaining momentum, a lot of people start contacting you. And it's generally because they want something from you. And that's pretty normal, I think, with YouTube. So when you contacted me, I had that Russell Brown on Instagram saying, hey, do you want some Adobe Creative Cloud? I'm like, go away, just ignore that. These people are like trying to con me. Because I live very remote. I'm a very skeptical person. And when I've got these people saying, hey, do you want this for free? I'm like, yeah, right. I've already given all my money to my Nigerian uncle. So you have all this sort of thing going on in your head. And it turned out that Russell Brown was real. It turned out that you, I think you're real. I've never met you, but I think you're real. So it was weird. On that note, if you haven't subscribed to the Have a Crack channel, my four-wheel driving channel, I'm like this close to monetizing that sucker. Yeah, I think it'll monetize very soon. I've got like 900 and something subscribers there now. It's very, very hard in that niche to get going, because what I was saying before about starting this channel with the niche and then niching harder, that's not really a niche channel besides four-wheel driving and camping. And there's plenty of people in Australia doing it. Anywho, I'll go back to these here. So the hats. When I was a young tacker, I used to play baseball. And obviously I don't now, because like no one here plays baseball. Well, it just doesn't happen. Anyway, when I look at my demo, so I've always worn a baseball cap. That's just something that I've always done for as long as I can remember. And when I started the channel, my audience, and it still is to this day, Canadian, American, and European. But these two here, the Canadians and the Americans, are the biggest group of people I have watching my stuff. And someone started commenting. I went and bought some new hats, and I wore some in the videos, and people would start commenting about, hey, Cardinals, and or hey, Red Sox, and all this sort of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, YouTube loves it when people comment. So if you watch one of my videos, just put a comment somewhere in the video. So every one of the videos, it helps me. It could help me by liking a video and commenting on a video more than anything else that you could possibly do, and share it if you can. But the comments matter. So when people start commenting on a hat, I went and bought more hats and more hats and more hats. I've always collected hats. And I'm just going to show you. Right. I've got a few. That's all.
Yep. Just a few.
Just a few. There's even been videos where I've changed the hat in every cutscene. and it was a lot of effort, and no one noticed. Actually, I think you noticed. Did you notice?
I don't think I did. There was another
Yeah.
video that you did something where I noticed.
Yep.
I think you did change hats in a second video,
Yep.
and I commented on how many different teams you wore in the video,
Oh, yeah.
and how many different changes there were. Like you had something like 11 different teams, but you changed your hat 14 different times or something like that.
Yeah. Right. Yep.
Because as soon as I saw it, hold on, I'm backing up. Okay, now I'm going to keep track.
Yeah, this video, it was like a planning Astro video or something like that, or apps that I use for Astro, something like that. And I've walked it, because I've done it all in the driveway space of our farm here. And I've walked outside with like a swag full of hats in my arms. And Sarah's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "It's a plan. It's going to drive engagement."
and then nobody freaking noticed. Oh, that's crazy.
It was funny. It was funny. Where are we up to? I'm just trying to find where we're up to. This decided the phone is intentionally my primary camera 2 months before Astro starter. Cool. You're on the one that got me into Astrophotography 6 Pro. Oh, yep. Oh, nice. Nice. Mike Goyne in the house. He's kind of famous on the internet too. He's been on the show.
Yeah.
Found Nightscape images. Ah, yep. I love it when YouTube pops me out. Always feel a little bit violated, but it helps. Do you start? Oh, yeah, right. That was from a question earlier. I heard Greg talk. Oh, look at that.
Cool.
Look at that. I'm going to pay you commissions or something. Really? Since the first Astro video? Wow. That was the very first video. It was my first Astro video. Yeah, I was going through, when I first started, that video got me thinking I need to do more Aussie stuff in my videos. Because I made a comment in that video. I think you even made a comment to me about it when we first started talking about the postie bike. And it's like a really underpack, because I had the postie bike in that first video.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, this thing wouldn't suck the skin off custard anyway.
Yeah. It wouldn't exactly suck start a Harley.
Okay. Yes. I've done a couple with, I think the macro stuff is generally coming around when I'm doing a lens video. I don't do much with macro. I think I might have done one video with macro without doing lenses, maybe. That would be it. But they're generally going to be when someone asks me to review lenses. When are you going to share a picture of your collection of hats on Facebook? I don't. Even though I sit here with you guys and talk about this sort of stuff, I generally don't show much behind the scenes of my life. The closest you're going to get to that is probably the Windella Farm channel.
Yeah.
When you see stuff around the farm. So if you're into, I don't know, how would you describe the Windella Farm channel, Greg?
Basically, your life on the farm. You know, it's obviously more farm related, but it's also, you know, business related with the stuff that Sarah makes, and you know, when you guys go to the markets and things like that, you know, you cover that stuff too. It's just a different side of you that isn't this.
Yeah.
You know, isn't photography related. And it's I find it interesting. I find it interesting. I really do. I like them.
Thanks. It was a friend of ours. I think she might be the treasurer of the Kahuna market. She's certainly a storeholder. I'm pretty sure she's the treasurer. We get along really well. I've built her website. I've done photos for her grandson and stuff like this. And I was at the point with the YouTube channel of Windella Farm where I'm like, because I did it daily for 50 days, I think it was.
Yeah.
As well as trying to do these channels.
Right.
And then I went, this is going to kill me. And I went to one a week on that channel. And I was so close to just going, this thing's never going to monetize because it's not even remotely in a niche. I do it just because it's a bit of fun, to be honest. I like to, because I enjoy making videos, and with this channel, I kind of go planning everything out of what I want to do. I keep pointing over here because I've got a whiteboard over here with all my video stuff on it. But with that channel, I go, what can I make a video about? And just go and make a video. And it's just fun.
Yeah.
But it also takes time. And I was at the point where I'm going, you know what? I think I might just pull the pin on this and just do it whenever I can be bothered to do it. And it was only when, it was only when she came around to our place one time and she's like, oh, I love your videos, Shane. It's so every Monday night at 6 o'clock, I have an alarm go off and I go and sit down in front of the telly and I watch the Windella Farm video. I was like, really? Every time? She's like, yep, really? So now I just make a video for her. That's it in my head.
Yeah.
From a YouTube creator point of view, you've always got to keep in mind who your audience is. So for me on this channel, believe it or not, I think about you when I make these videos because you are pretty typical of who my audience is. You're a 40 to 50-year-old bloke, well, 35 to 55, I think the age group is. You're in North America and you've got money. That's whether you think you've got money or not. But compared to someone who is living in a third world who comes across a video, the advertisers want to be firing at you rather than someone in a third world country. So I think of you and when I do these sorts of videos. And with the four-wheel drive channel, it's different again. It's pretty much a 20 to 35-year-old person in Australia with some dollars. With the Windella Farm channel, there's no one because it's so varied in what I do. So when she came around and she said, I watch all of your videos. I love it. I think it's fascinating. I think what you guys do. That's who I make a video for.
And another thing I like about it is that you're in Australia. It's a different culture than what we have here. Although a lot of things are similar, yes, but there's a lot of things that are not. A lot of things that I would never know about. That you show on that, and it just kind of that's what makes it entertaining for me.
It's been a really good challenge for me in trying to make what I think is just mundane and boring into something interesting. And from what you just said, that helps with that because it's different to where you are and what you do in some aspects. So it's interesting from that point.
I mean, if you looked at farm life here in Canada, like there's a lot of farms where I live. There's a lot of farmers around here. It's different than what you guys have. Yep,
absolutely. Cameron Whitaker. Hello, Shane. Cameron Whitaker. That name sounds really familiar to me, and I'm really sorry if we actually do know each other. I'm fucking terrible with names. The name sounds definitely familiar to me, and that photo looks mint.
Yeah.
Go, Cameron. Clickbait comment hat style. Not sure what that means. Have you seen the Pixel advert? The Pixel and iPhone laid on the ground looking at the stars. The iPhone saying, I wish I could see that. Sorry, it's been covered.
Oh, yeah.
Nope.
I think I've seen that.
I can't say I have. What I can say, though, is that what I'm getting out of the bloody iPhone 15 Pro Max and what I'm getting out of the Pixel 8 Pro, they're that freaking close now. It's ridiculous. They really are. This is incredible. You must be doing something right. I must be. I don't know what it is, but I must be. I saw the first. Astro Shader.
Yes, Astro Shader,
yeah. Live in a Bortle 7. Oh, jeez. You got the Milky Way in a Bortle 7? That's awesome.
That is.
That's awesome.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah. COVID was the impetus for me getting... Yeah. I'm trying to find something new in photography in the back. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. We like the bees. We like the bees.
The bees are the bee's knees.
Yeah, I like the bees too. It's something that I never, ever thought that I'd be into, like keeping bees. Never, ever in a million years. But we cut a tree down and there was a beehive in it, so we tried to capture them. You can see all about it on that channel. And yeah, it's now I have 3 hives. So people say, oh, how many animals do you have on the farm? And I'm like,
Thousands.
67,000. A friend of mine, so there's a few people around the local district here who keep bees now, like as a hobby. And we've now got, in the swarm season, which is pretty much starting to end. So swarm is when like a bunch of bees like just piss off from the hive and go and try and find somewhere new to live. And you'll see them on like branches of trees and stuff, just like this big ball of bees. And that's them swarming. They're looking for somewhere else to live. And they've got scout bees going off to find them and stuff and find a place to live. So what we do is try and go and capture that big ball of bees and put them in a hive. So all the bees that I have been caught that way, or in a trap. Like they've all been caught in a trap, my ones. But I don't have a spare hive, an empty hive. I've got traps all over the place, which will hold maybe 5,000-6,000 bees in them. So a small swarm, and then you build on that. And there's someone the other day on our group. We've got a Facebook group for the local beekeepers. Someone had a swarm of bees in their backyard, and it would have been like as big as a top of a 44-gallon drum. It was a massive ball of bees. And everyone's like, can anyone go get these? I'm like, I want to. Because you just put a big box under it, like cut the branch off into the box and close the box up and take it back to your hive. Mm-hmm. And they're like, I've got nowhere to put them. I've got those hives. And they won't fit in the trap because there's just too many of them. But so now I've bought a new hive. And it's the first one I've ever bought off eBay, like a cheap hive. It's like $150 or something. So I've just been building that, and I'll actually, when we're finished here, I'll go over to Bendigo and get some wax and stuff for it. And then when one of those come up again, I'll be able to actually go capture the damn thing. Look at that. Talking about bees on a photography show.
Yeah.
You started 2017. What? I only started the channel in 2020, I think. How were you watching me then? I don't know. Love the Windella Farm stuff and the sheep. Go the sheep. I do not love the flies. I do not love the flies either.
Oh, the flies are something else, aren't they?
Yeah. That video where I captured all those flies in that. Oh man, I still gag when I think about that. That was horrid. Absolutely horrid. Rookie here, my first long exposure night photography came across from Banks of Sydney Opera House. Ah, that's cool. Why did I think that you were in New York? Maybe you were here on holidays. Shot the start Astro Shader on the iPad. Hey, that Astro Shader is a good app.
There you go.
It really is a good app. Andreas, welcome. You introduce me. Yeah, I think I'll be able to do that with well, to an extent with the tracker. I'm very mindful. Like I've got a telescope there. I'm very mindful about who my audience is here. Like it would be, how do I say? Not everyone's got that, but everyone has that. So even with the tracker, I was a little bit like, oh, do I do it? It's a bit of a jump. I've done a couple of videos with the telescope, only for the moon though. So I'm a bit reluctant to go deep down that path of specialized or even doing video because they won't rank well, and they won't, and the ranking means something to me. This is what I do for a living now, so it has to match that sort of stuff. I may, and we'll put the toe in the water and see what people think. I'm not sure. We'll see. I'm in your country now. Where are you? Did you get kicked out of Belgium? From Holland, Astro. Oh,
Interesting.
Yeah, I've done it with cows, and it's really, really difficult. So it's probably worth, now that I'm thinking about this, there's probably worth a video in this. Not the sheep thing. It's so when I shot the cows with Astro, it's very hard to do because you can't have the stationary subjects are so much easier to do than a living, moving subject. Even people like suck for Astro. When I shoot Astro at a wedding, it's really hard to do because usually by that time of the night, the bride and groom have had a gut full of piss, and they're like, so it's hard to get them to stay still. Just get serious. I'll hold the sheep.
Yeah.
That'll work well. Was it last time we dealt with sheep? No, the time before, when we were dealing with. We had a sheep that had a pretty good injury. I ended up having to put it down, and just because it was never going to come good. She wasn't good, so it was the best solution. But we had her in the race, and I was trying to get a hold of her so I could see if we could treat her or not. And she absolutely body slammed Sarah. It was like, damn it! I wish I was recording this. It was So a race is like a long, you know what a race is? It's like a long fenced area where the animal can't really turn around. It's got to walk forwards and backwards.
Yeah, yeah.
And so Sarah was down one end, and the sheep just ran and launched, and like hit her fair in the chest, and down she went.
Oh.
Yeah. And I'm sitting there going, why didn't I film this? That would have been awesome.
None of this. Are you okay, honey? No. Why didn't I film this?
It's like, oh, that really hurt. I was like, but did you die? No, you're right. It's fine. She's pretty hardcore. She's fine.
Oh yeah.
So back to the cow thing and the Astro thing with the cows. I think there's a video in this about different lighting techniques because I did get it to work, just not as well as I would like it to work. The best way to do it is going to be multiple exposures because I had like the Astro shot going on with a heap of cows along the fence because they were like, what's this idiot doing here at 2:00 in the morning? And they all come and say hello. So I've just hit them with the strobe and just like, poof. So they all they're frozen in time with the strobe, regardless of how long the shutter's going for. And it worked. I think with the phone, though, because you've got such awesome dynamic range with the cameras, like the big boy stuff, the phones are getting better, but I don't know if we're there yet. The iPhone might do it. It might do it. The Pixel probably won't because you need to have a longer period of light with the Pixel, but the iPhone might. The Samsung might. But anyway, I'm not going to do it with the sheep. Sheep suck. I hate dealing with sheep. If they didn't taste so good, I wouldn't have them. Livestock does. And he's the man. He's got goats too, I think, from memory. Yes. Anywho, how long have we been going for? Hour and 20 minutes. I'm not paying you for this one. I've spoken too much.
Well, that's all right.
I think we've covered that off pretty well, don't you think?
Yeah, I think we covered everything pretty much except the topic. Well, no, we did cover the topic. Yes, I know.
Jeez.
But no, it's always a good conversation, no matter where it goes. It's always good.
Yeah.
So I love having the chat room in there too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What's happening with your podcast, mate? What's next?
Oh, I am going to have Brian Matthias on the next show. So he is a guy down in the U.S. who just started getting a little more serious about using his iPhone for photography, and he's also pretty good at Lightroom. So he's going to, yeah. So I think we're going to talk about his.
Why is it?
Pardon?
It's a Lightroom guy.
Yeah,
I'm thinking, I know the name is a Lightroom guy, Lightroom mobile guy.
Well, Lightroom mobile, but Lightroom period. Like he has a video about something about going from Lightroom Classic to Lightroom, like the cloud version or whatever. I don't know. He's got a lot of Lightroom. Like he's got a thing called Lightroom. What is it, Scott? You should know. Lightroom something. It's like a course or a book or something that he has. I think it's a course. But anyway, he's pretty good at Lightroom, and he actually put one of the best tips I've ever seen about Lightroom on his channel one time. And it works both in mobile and on the desktop, and that's to do with the masking the sky.
Mm-hmm.
There's a technique about masking the sky that gets it way more precise than just hitting the sky mask.
Oh, okay.
There's a couple little tricks to it, and he had no idea that it would work. I don't know. I guess he tried it, and it works really, really well. So we'll probably talk about that a little bit too. But it's going to be streamed live on YouTube, and so we'll have a chat room going. Lightroom everywhere. That's it. Thanks, Scott. Yeah, and so yeah, we're going to talk about some Lightroom stuff and iPhone stuff, and I'm going to try to see if I can get his story. I always like to do this with people who are like pro photographers, and then now they start using their phones. I like to get their story as to how they made that shift. Not everybody gives up that side of the business just for phones, but a lot of people are going the phone way now too. They're adding it into their arsenal or whatever. So be interesting to hear his story on that.
It's interesting. Like what you just said then reminded me of. So there's tools that I use for YouTube. I use TubeBuddy. It's kind of it's a very all-encompassing tool. It helps me with designing my SEO for the videos. It helps me research keywords. But another thing that it does is I've set up alerts for it to tell me when other people are doing phone astrophotography, just so I can see, is there someone there that's like good that I can go, hey, let's do something, or I can go and watch and go, shit, never thought of that before. I should do a video on that too. And when I first started this channel, there were so few people doing it that I reckon I went for months before I even got an alert to say that someone had done that video. Yeah. Now I get that many alerts. I get probably 2, maybe 3 a day of people doing astro videos with phones, and the subscriber counts are really low. But what it shows me though is, well, one, I found a couple that were just ripping me off, like my content was in their video. Like,
oh, really?
Other ones where it's telling me that people are doing this. Like this is bigger.
It's a bit of a thing.
Channel. Yeah. I saw a question here that Scott asked before. No, B gloves do not work with touchscreens. And the latest swarm that I caught, they're a bit angry, so I don't not wear gloves with them. Other hives I can just do it without wearing gloves. They're not going to sting me. But the new lot that I have, they're angry. So I go like top to toe. Yeah. I'll probably end up having to kill the queen and put a new queen in there and bring some different genetics there and just get them all chilled. Or maybe I'll just put something different in the smoker to get them all chilled. We'll see what happens. Greg, when is your next live?
It is, I believe it is February 26th, I want to say. I'll double check, though, to make sure.
Not the 29th?
No, not the 29th. So, yes, February 26th at 9 p.m. Eastern. And it's on the YouTube channel for the iPhoneography podcast. So you have to look that up, and that's where you'll find it.
There's a collab happening in Sweden there. Look at this. He missed. Yeah, he did miss the 29th joke.
No, I knew the 29th joke. I know it's the 29th. It's a leap year.
All right, guys, let's get out of here.
All right, thanks everybody for playing along and asking questions and all that stuff.
It was a good chat this morning.
Yeah,
good
sure
chat.
Was. Yeah.
Yes. All right, guys. We'll see you in 2 weeks, and I'll see you, well, probably soon enough, Greg.
Yep, you betcha.
All right. See you guys.
Bye, everybody.